Addressing treatment for muscle strains. Incredible Hulk is otherwise known as the Muscle Man because of his overwhelming strength, and his muscles indeed earned him the reputation of being an Incredible Hulk, not his green collar. Just imagine the humongous creature without muscles. Without it, he'd be weak as any ordinary man. Yes, muscles give us strength. By definition, it is a soft tissue found in most animals, including human beings. When we move or stretch our muscles, they either contract and or stretch to its maximum. The main function of muscles is force and motion, which means we can either push or pull our muscles with pressure or move our muscles involuntarily and voluntarily. When pressure is applied, strength comes with it. The more obvious muscles are located in the large muscle groups such as the legs, hamstrings, and shoulders. But by scientific definition, there are three types of muscle tissue: cardiac, smooth, and skeletal. Cardiac muscles are located in the heart and are under involuntary control. In other words, your heart will beat without you even noticing it. This is in contradiction with the smooth muscle fibers, which are less obvious than skeletal muscles. The skeletal muscles, compared to the smooth muscle fibers, are attached to the skeleton. The smooth muscle fibers assist the large skeletal muscles in force and motion. However, there are instances when our muscles are improperly used. They could either be overused, overstretched, or left immobilized. This could result in muscle strains or swelling of the muscles. When muscles are strained, there is too much pressure applied on it, and the only way to control pressure is to release the strain. We overuse our muscles when they are used repeatedly in activities such as running, bodybuilding, and workouts. These activities continue to exert pressure on the muscles in the same way that stretching pushes our muscles to extend beyond its limits. People who engage in physical activities are prone to muscle strains, but couch potatoes can also strain their muscles by building up too much fat, glucose, and lactic acid inside their bodies. Just imagine leaving your clothes soiled for a long time until they stink. In the same way, these toxic elements can build up in your body and store in your muscles. No physical activity likewise puts pressure on the muscles until they feel very heavy. They have to be mobilized in order to release the strain. There are several ways to treat muscle strains. One is through the RICE method: rest, ice, compression, and elevation. The RICE method is commonly used by sports athletes to avoid injuries. This method reduces the swelling and relaxes the muscles. Other ways to alleviate muscle strains is to massage, yoga, and stretching. Massage softens tight muscles and also relaxes them in the same way that a little yoga and stretching could relieve tired muscles.